I'm Supermoon Tarot, and today we are going to be answering the question, what are your spiritual gifts? This is a particularly cool question because just like how Picasso believed everybody is born an artist, which I actually believe as well, everybody is born with some sort of spiritual gift. And this can be used to your advantage. It's a really awesome thing. Maybe you're able to be clairvoyant. Maybe you are able to feel and vibe things other people aren't. Maybe you have a fantastic intuition. Maybe you're more capable of manipulating the physical world around you than you are aware of. Whatever it is, it's both very cool and fun to know about, but maybe it can help explain some things that you're like, yeah, I do always weirdly get gut feelings when I feel like people are just like bad and everyone else thinks that I'm jumping to conclusions, but I'm not, or whatever the case. Or maybe you have prophetic dreams. We're going to be going over that in today's Pick a Card. And as you can see, I've got our little mystically, think of them as like third eyes in the 4 different groups. Pick whatever group resonates with you most. I'm going to give you a moment to do that. And now that you have done that, the group is matched with the timestamp in the description below. You can go ahead and click that to skip to your group. But let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's find out what your spiritual gifts are. Let's look at your tarot cards. We have 4 of Wands in reverse. 10 of Swords upright. The Fool upright. The Devil upright, Queen of Wands upright, and your last card is King of Pentacles upright. Okay, I'm definitely connecting to somebody who's, wow, you're very powerful. Yeah. Yeah, you're very, sorry for the camera bumping, apologies for that. You're way more powerful than you are aware of. But that's the key word is what I'm trying to say, is than you're aware of. I'm going to go just on a little bit of a tangent here for a moment, because when it comes to spirit guides and tarot, they just kind of do whatever they want. So I might be talking about something else, like a love reading, and then randomly career advice will come in, or a warning about something else will pop in. Whatever messages you need to know, they're going to insert themselves nonetheless. So I'm being told, and that I'm connecting with somebody who is very powerful, but unfortunately has experienced a lot of not great experiences, almost borderline traumatic experiences in their life. They've been attacked by a lot of people, and from what I'm picking up, unbeknownst to you, that a lot of the reason why these people have tried to put you down or steal your light or turned on you in some sort of way is a big jealousy factor, because subconsciously they are picking up on this power that I'm picking up. This is the type of power about how you are able to, on like a whim, like very quickly affect the energy around you to either bring people to you. You can cut off negative energy and kind of create a space and push other people out very easily. That's how effective you are. You can literally push them out just by going, get out, mentally, like, get out of my house, and they will leave. They will feel an inexplicable reason to want to leave. You are able to affect the world in tangible and intangible ways, and you are actually a lot more naturally skilled than you give yourself credit to, or I don't really feel like you're enjoying your gifts to their fullest. Okay, so I'm going to have to go over a lot here. Okay, pay attention, because you've got a lot of great things going for you, and I'm getting that you're not using them all the time or enjoying them, and there's a lot to enjoy here. So let's go over everything. Okay. 4 of Wands in reverse talks about your ability to, and I'm just going to say in a metaphorical term, create a home. Now, creating a home is kind of a thing you can take with you anywhere. And it's important for you to acknowledge this ability, because a lot of your inner power and your energy and your ability to make all these other things happen comes from this. This is your power base, I will describe it as. So this is creating a space in, whether this be your home, your room, your dorm room, that is just your own. It's where you can really have your energies flow and then bounce back and affect you more positively. You can have it just the way you want. But the cool thing is you're able to take this sort of mentality and this concept anywhere you go. So think of it as like, if you're in an uncomfortable situation, you can literally just mentally think, okay, this little space right here, this is my home. No one can enter my home. This is my home. And what happens here is it's kind of similar to when, now this is, I'm just giving you a metaphor. You don't have to personally believe this. This is just like what many people do believe. When witches, people who like to practice witchcraft, cast circles, there's a belief system that it not only protects them, but that when their energies, whatever they're doing within that circle, whether that be meditating or they're casting a spell, it bounces off this circle they've casted and comes back at them. So their energy just keeps amplifying, amplifying, amplifying. Once you start to recognize whatever you call your safe space or your place, protect it, give it a lot of attention. It's where you kind of get revived, rejuvenated, but keep in mind that it is more mobile than you are aware of. So why not allow yourself to, really build up this positive energy and keep it around you everywhere you go. Like mentally acknowledge that wherever little space you're creating around you, that's your home. That's where you feel a sense of security and are able to feel like your best version of yourself. I would definitely take mental note to, again, this is whatever you want to personally believe, put good vibes in your home. So some people like to get more physical, like again, if you're into witchcraft and stuff like that, people like to sage their environment or bless it or whatever, but you can just simply focus on putting good thoughts there. You can meditate on concepts like white light and feeling good, but give that time and attention. Don't let people think that they can take it away from you, because you can block people out like you would not believe. That this concept kind of gets extended upon in the King of Pentacles. This is somebody who has the ability to create safety for themselves and others. I know that seems kind of like a wackadoo ability or skill, and you think, well, what does that mean for me? Well, if you decide to, because it is a decision, and you say, no one can enter my space, I am safe here. It's not about, don't ever focus on the negative, like people won't attack me. Think, my space is my space and I am free in here and nobody can enter but me. You will be shocked at how many other people will just kind of turn around and leave you alone, feel their words are not able to affect you. You can just think it as literal as that. My space is my own and only my energy can enter. And again, we've talked about, you can take this anywhere with you. But the cool thing about this is you can also project this energy onto people you love and you feel are worthy of this. So you can protect people, you can protect yourself, and you can kind of have this relaxation and comfort knowing that when you go out in the world and you try new things and you experiment and you adventure, you can kind of take a little more of that risk, whether that be emotional or like physical, maybe you're like rock climbing or something like that. Because when you say, I'm safe, I'm good, I protect myself, you can make it happen. You can kind of like already be like, I'm my own personal airbag. I'm gonna be okay. So like I said, it's a very multifaceted, it's kind of like an underused like superhero power, so to speak. Now, in the Ten of Swords over here, this again continues when I say you're extremely powerful. So this is really interesting. I'm being less told that, sometimes people are like, oh, you have this really powerful light, it's limitless. Your sort of limitlessness comes from a different sort of perspective. Once you are down on your luck and you feel like you don't feel good anymore, everything's being taken away from you, you can't believe you had another friend betray you and things not work out the way you want. Somehow, even when people think they've taken everything from you, always are able to just somehow pull that new resource of energy amidst a dark unknown. You don't need to see that it's there, to know that it's there, and then always be able to pull back. Again, this is a beautiful reassurance that nobody can ever take anything away from you, because even if they took you to that point, you'll still always bounce back and then some. And you have something that most people wish they could only have. People usually need to see proof or hear something. You just kind of know. You can have nothing. You can be shown the opposite, that there is no hope. And yet you'll still always thrive. You'll still always do well. I do want to mention that your spirit guides are pretty predominant. I'm getting a lot of messages from them. They're very involved with their life. They're kind of like your biggest cheerleader. I mean, I think you can say that for most people's spirit guides, but for yours, a huge thing I'm getting from your spirit guides, I'm just getting it constantly repeated, is that there's a lot of admiration they have for you because of that. So you have a lot of things kind of working out in your favor because they admire your kind of not giving up, sort of down on your luck attitude despite all the things that you've experienced. So definitely get in contact with your spirit guides. It is very helpful. Trust me, I speak for myself. They've got you. You're more capable than you know. So we talk about being more capable than you know in the Fool. This is somebody who, once they've relaxed, they've turned off their brain, they've stopped overthinking about it, you have a natural intuition to kind of be good at anything. I mean this, seriously. This is somebody who just starts picking up cooking and weirdly is able to know when to take the cookies out, or maybe it's a little too much salt. This is someone who picks up painting and somehow is able to understand the idea of highlights and shadows and cool and warm temperatures. They're just able to notice those details a little quicker because they are able to turn off their brain and observe the wet world in a very frank way without overthinking it. It's almost like that movie, I think it's like Scarlett Johansson's in it, I think it's like Lucy or something. It's like that untapped potential that we are all capable of. Well, once you kind of relax and have fun and are silly, it is crazy how good you are at pretty much anything. So definitely whenever you're feeling really stressed out, back away, take a moment, let go. Once you have kind of got out of your own way, wow, you really can do anything. Like, I mean, really sincerely, sky's the limit. Go climb a mountain. Figure out how to cut wood and make your own furniture. Trust me, it's kind of a lot of limitless potential, so to speak. But the key to this is through fun. That is why a lot of people have brought you down in your life. Whenever you've had fun and been relaxed, it's like that's when you start to tap into that part of yourself, and they feel jealous about that. They don't want it, so then they start to bring you down. Now, continuing forward, I can see here in the Devil card, this is really important if you would like to have a very heightened level of some sort of spiritual experience. I especially want to point out this was one of the first ways I had my very first Kundalini experience. I've had many of them in my lifetime, and the very first time I ever had it. This is about being able to understand two opposing thoughts at the same time and being able to accept and understand them fully. Again, at the same time. That's very hard because usually when we see one side, it's very easy to be like, well, that totally contradicts this, and then, pull apart. It's like the ultimate devil's advocate, but on a very intense level. Think of this when you go to have a spiritual experience and you're meditating or you're trying to specifically achieve a Kundalini experience or whatever you are personally into. When you have this ability, oh my God, do you hear this plane going over? I'm so sorry about that. When you have this ability, you are going to need to, if you are going to be one and be one with everything, you have to understand everything. And I would highly recommend you picking something that is a particularly tough subject for you in your life and start to understand both sides of it and be able to think of both of those things at the same time. It's like putting two puzzle pieces together and they need to coexist to realize it's all one, to fully on a very deep level to your soul and subconscious get it. And you can tap into this ability much easier than others. And this will be a key for you if you would like to have that sort of experience to go forward. Focus on that when you meditate. Think about that. And the last thing I was going to say when I talked about the world and you affecting it in a way, the way you want, the Queen of Wands is like, I'm telling you, if you want to invite your romantic interest in your life, or connect with other people in general as friends, this is the ability to kind of like turn on this vibe to you, this unseeable vibe. You just look at someone and it's not an arrogance thing. It's just when you are aware that you have it and you turn it on, people just seem to turn, look at you, and walk your way. They just want you. They just immediately are drawn to you. And I'm not just talking about the way you physically look. I'm just talking about an unforeseeable pull you can have on people. And you can turn this on and off whenever you want, but I do want to point out you turning this off. It looks like you can often, because you have all this like potential and positivity and light coming your way and this powerful energy, it's a really important positive energy. This is often described as like a magnet, being a magnet. Very, very, very powerful, offensive spiritual gift to have. A lot of people might be drawn to you, and that includes people that want to bring you down, people that want to use you for your light. So I imagine over time you've kind of cut yourself off from people, kind of not want this, subconsciously want this skill on because you're afraid of who you will attract and you're not sure if you necessarily want that. You can't allow these people to do this to you anymore. Like, leave it in the past. Enjoy the gifts you have. Learn to block out the people you don't want because you are more than capable of. Know that you have yourself protected. And if you're like, you know what, I'm finally ready, I want to attract the friends I want to attract the romantic partner I want to attract, you can walk into a room, turn on that vibe, realize how powerful you are, start to tap in. And just so you know, should be something that you physically feel. This is a sort of vibration or a feeling that you feel in your, in your arms, especially your like facial cheeks, like your face and your forehead and stuff like that. You will kind of tingle. You will feel a sort of brightness to your feeling. It's a very odd sensation, but trust me, you will be able to turn it on and you will notice the effect instantly. It's quite powerful, quite intense, and you have it and you're able to do it much easier than other people. Other people have to develop the ability. You already have it. So a lot of really great things. I'm so sorry you've been through what you've been through, but don't let other people bring you down anymore. I will not have it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please feel free to give a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. But either way, have a wonderful day. I can't wait to see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number two. Let's find out what your spiritual gifts are. Let's look at the tarot cards. We've got Three of Swords in reverse. King of Cups upright. The Sun card upright. Ace of Pentacles upright. Queen of Cups upright. And your last card is Eight of Wands in reverse. Oh wow, you're clairsentient. You're very clairsentient. Tarot doesn't want to talk about anything else but that you're clairsentient. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to read all the cards simultaneously. You are so clairsentient that you affect everything around you all the time, good and bad. Clairsentient is to be able to affect things and have insight in the world around you, tangible and intangible, based on your feelings. But it looks like you are being told by both your spirit guides and the cards that your abilities are so unbelievably powerful, but they're kind of out of control right now. They are for sure not consistently grounded, and they want to give you basically the advice you need to hear in order to use this all to your advantage and live the life you want to live, which is awesome, but also kind of give you like some help of being like, these are the things that make you not feel great. Because when things aren't going well for you, or people are upsetting you, or you feel down or depressed, it just feels like your world is crashing down around you. Or if you're feeling amazing and positive, it just seems like one synchronicity and positive thing works out for you after the other if you allow yourself to have it. I do want to point out this is a huge thing that you are being like guided and helped to find, because it looks like, especially when it comes to finances, so it looks like money is a thing that's on your mind right now. It always seems like there's an opportunity or a promise for something to happen, or a promise that you feel like you are the right person to receive that opportunity or position or whatever, or attracted to you. But whenever it gets right close enough, it just doesn't feel like you quite can get a hold of it. It always feels like at the last minute, whether you're aware of this or not, that you self-sabotage. Because, and you don't mean to self-sabotage, but because your emotions are such a contributing factor to everything, if you don't feel like you're able to combat negative things, or it feels scary to receive and accept money, and then you feel emotional about that, you can unknowingly push it away much stronger than other people can. So let's talk about all the things that benefit you, and the things you can do to get more grounded and kind of, you know, have a handle on this, because basically every single card wants to talk about clairsentience. That shows me you are extremely powerful. You are like, trust me, you're the type of person where people can feel whether you're happy or upset. Trust me. And it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. Use it to your advantage. So, over here in the King of Cups, both of them, Queen of Cups and King of Cups, are strong leading factor talking about your clairsentience and your emotions. And you're getting a bit of advice here. So one, in the King of Cups, you're being told to pay attention to the things that you're hearing in the background of your normal life, the information you're sort of taking in. This is like when you're scrolling through Twitter and you read a bunch of negative stuff. This is taking in too much information about the news, or maybe you have people around you that are speaking in fashions that are like negative, and this is the type of negativity that's like really subtle. It's not always just, you know, a straight up distressing thing to hear that upsets you gutturally right away. It's anything that's just not purely focused on like, hey, want to hear about this funny show or this happy experience? It doesn't mean, you know, block the world around you. It doesn't mean be ignorant forever. But you need to, right now at this point in your life, just to gain a sense of grounding, feel a little more rooted in your emotions, feel a little more in control and less affected by these things, you kind of need to fill your environment with much more positive affirmations. If it's vaguely pulling you away or not the funnest to hear, just kind of guide yourself away from it. Maybe take a break from Twitter for a while, that type of thing. Because you just, again, it's not about cutting yourself off from the world and only thinking one way. But these type of things affect you on a subconscious level. And so you're like, man, why do I feel down out of nowhere? You're very sensitive, and so this will help you kind of gain a little bit of more happiness over a longer period of time, which will then, when you experience something that you don't like hearing, you'll be able to handle it better. So kind of just give yourself that little bit of comfort you need right now. The Queen of Cups is telling you need to slowly work on your ability to kind of go with the flow more, and this is about being able to allow things in your life to be unexpectedly changed. You need to control your emotions to not think the worst situation, just kind of be like, oh, see everything as a positive adventure. So it's like, I wanted something to work out this way, but maybe this can give me a different perspective on hanging out with this person, or maybe it can give me an advantage in life or whatever right now. And as you slowly are able to be okay with the changes in life or things being affected, you will slowly start to see more positives in life, feel less emotionally distressed by kind of upsetting news. And again, where it's all about you feeling more positive. A big clue to this is talking about the Sun card. Like we said, when you're not feeling great, trust me, other people can feel it. You are blocking yourself off from a lot. But when you're feeling amazing, Oh my God. That's the time when you want to, that's when the time when you want to ask for a romantic partner, because they're going to show up real fast. This is the time when you want to start asking for the things you want, whether this be a particular job or school you want to get into, whatever this is, whatever place you are in your life. And you can have this, I just want to point out, you can have this all the time. You are not only very vibrant in how much energy you're putting out all the time, may I mention, all the time. So if you ever feel like exhausted or people describe you as very high energy, this is what they're picking up. But you are just limitless with it. So that is why it kind of bleeds over when you're not feeling great. So if we can give you the sort resources like we've been discussing so far to make you feel good all the time, even if things pop up and are not great and could potentially jostle your emotions and you're able to handle that, then you can kind of basically do whatever you want your whole life. I mean, literally anything. This is like a major factor of affecting the tangible world and manipulating the tangible world around you to your benefit, just because you feel it. You feel it and compel it to you. You can imagine, you have the gratitude that you're receiving it. Definitely, people overthink. This is, I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent here. We're going to get to these other cards in just one moment. But I do want you to point out, when you are manifesting, a lot of people over-affect this, and this makes people who are clairsentient become over-emotional when manifesting, which then prevents them from actually getting the thing they want. Do not think that when you are imagining these positive affirmations and you're asking for this thing you want, that you have to absolutely feel it to your core, absolutely visualize it, absolutely feel it, have the most intense gratitude ever. Do not stress yourself out. You are so powerful. All you have to do is say once, half mean it, but put out the intention of like, this is the thing I want, I received it. And then move on. Let it go. Don't overthink it or wonder, did I ask for it enough? Do not do that. You're so powerful that if you give it too much attention, you'll actually overthink it. Think of it like you're holding on to the concepts too tightly, and then it's unable to move and flow and go out into existence and come into your reality, if that makes sense. So anyways, Three of Swords does talk about warning you to not prematurely force yourself to be happy. If you are sad and you acknowledge that you're sad, this doesn't necessarily mean every time you're sad, every time you're negative, all these bad stuff is gonna happen. I don't want you to have that mindset. They don't want you, as in your spirit guides, don't want you to have that mindset. It's just you need to take a second and acknowledge and be like, hey, I don't intend or want anything negative to happen to me, but I do need a minute to feel better so that if I solve these core problems, like the things that really bother me and affect me, in the long run, I can truly feel happiness. So definitely acknowledge that you are more in control of even having good things to happen for you and prevent bad things from happening when you're feeling bad, but also solve the problems that are like kind of, do you ever feel like you're just tired of feeling bad, so you're just like, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to repress it. You're going to need to face it a little bit head on and have patience with yourself that feeling better is a slower process for you. But when you do overcome that thing that was bringing you down emotionally, in the long run, you will have more happiness and also more, again, clairsentient abilities and powers. So over here, we're getting a hint, like I talked about before, with your ability to attract financial things to you. You are capable of it. You can ask for it, you can feel it, you can receive it. But when I get the Ace of Pentacles, rather than a card that kind of more refers to a longevity, a longer term, a full-on receiving that concept, a card distinctly talking about like a promotion or something like that, and receiving that promotion, it always feels like the money is being kept away from you in the distance. You kind of need to start repeating affirmations like, I earn money easily, money comes to me easily. And then this is the huge one for you. It's not just that you attract money to you, because you don't even have to try, you do, trust me. This is about saying, I accept, I welcome it, and I accept it. Because somewhere on a subconscious level, especially when I see the Three of Swords in reverse, these both refer to an inability to accept it. on a deep core level. Sometimes, I mean, everyone's got their own personal story why you might think you're not good enough, or think this is what you deserve. Whatever that is, face that problem, because you're so close. You can have everything you want. Please, like, trust me, go for it. The last thing I want to say is a huge key to your ability is a bit about time manipulation. You have the ability in the Eight of Wands to almost suspend time for yourself and others. This is when you get so lost in the moment, you're so here now in the present, to the point where you end up like having these prolific experiences, whether they be spiritual or really deep, and only 10 minutes went by. Or you're really lost in the moment. Everything felt like it went by so quickly, and suddenly actually 4 or 5 hours went by. This is relating to your ability to, no matter what's happening, you just can stop and fully appreciate what is right there. And if you know anything about manifestation, law of attraction, it's all about being here in the moment, because what's here right now, not the past, not the future, right here now is the most powerful energy anyone can tap into. And you, in the middle of, like, I don't know, like a sports game, can just stop everything and like hone in, zone in, trance into it. Start getting into trance meditation. That would be really good for you. Definitely learn to trance. That's really helpful as well. Keep working on your emotions. Try to shelter yourself for a little bit just to heal, as well as like shelter yourself, work on those deep issues. But just know happiness is your strength. You can prevent bad things from happening to you when you aren't feeling great. Tap into the moment, allow yourself to accept things, because your emotions are intense in a really great, awesome way. Oh, I love as I was saying that the light got brighter. Not a coincidence. I don't think so. If you enjoyed this reading, please feel free to give a like, comment, and subscribe. Either way, have a wonderful day. I can't wait to see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number three. Let's find out what your spiritual gifts are. Let's look at the tarot cards. We have Seven of Wands in reverse, the Tower in reverse, the Hangman in reverse, the Moon card in reverse. So much internal stuff. Four of Swords upright. Oh, okay. That's why we're dealing with so much internal stuff. And the Strength card upright. Okay, I can tell you right off the bat, you are kind of coming to this pick a card in a time of need. You are hesitating on something. There's some big decision that needs to be made, and you are hesitating on something. We're going to talk about spiritual gifts, but when it comes to spirit guides and tarot, they don't really care. They're going to tell you the messages you need to hear when you're going to hear them. I will often have, in many private readings, just other messages also pop up simultaneously, because whatever you need to hear, when you need to hear it, they're going to give it to you. So it's important for you to know, though, that whatever you're hesitating on, you need to do it. You need to do it right now, because it's going to fix a lot of problems. See, the thing that's interesting is the Tower in reverse usually refers to an internal issue being overcome and a long-standing issue being resolved. So this can resolve or talk about something that maybe it's been an issue you've been dealing with for a while, but Spirit is telling me and showing me images of like traveling or this is the type of change that is totally drastically different than your daily life you're going through now. And it's scary for most of us to make those big jumps in life. But the thing that's really interesting, and this is where your spiritual gifts kind of pop in, weirdly, go for it. This is like a weird ability you have. When you go and you're going to look for, maybe you're moving because it's a job situation, that apartment you're looking for is just going to magically pop up. Even the day you move in, it's like all of a sudden there's a parking spot right in front of the place you need to move in or check in. Somehow you get to the interview perfectly on time. Whatever it is, when you are willing to take the risk that big risk, that jump, that scary feeling of moving forward in that way, you can literally the next day be living in France and own 3 cats and be living your best life, whatever that version is. But oh my God, I'm so sorry for this like jet that's coming over. They've been passing over the house all day. I can't really stop it. So apologies for the very loud sound. Hopefully with some editing, it's not really coming through. Anyways, nonetheless, so one of your abilities is the ability to change drastically and have the rest of your world around you seem to work in effect and into your benefit in order for all of this to run really smoothly. A lot of people don't take these chances in life because there are a lot of contributing factors that can go wrong or are scary to do. Kind of it's smooth sailing. You're constantly being invited by the universe to always change things up because you're one of the lucky ones that it can be a very positive experience. So definitely take some risks because you have a lot of like luck and fortune and things working out in your benefit in that way. Over here with the Seven of Wands, we've kind of got a bit of and this was indicating to me your hesitation, your sense of like, you're just so exhausted. You've been feeling very tired for a while. You can't do this anymore. This is why it's really scary for you to tackle this bigger problem and go for it. But you're going to go for it. But in the Seven of Wands in reverse, we also have a very offensive ability. This is... It's almost like you've been given a lot of difficult situations. I don't really like to say this because I personally find I don't know, I don't find it the most comforting, but I'll tell you what I'm seeing. Sometimes people say you only get what, people, whatever you spiritually believe in, the universe thinks you can handle. But I often feel that's a very unfair sort of statement. But with the Seven of Wands, it feels like not you're being given a lot of difficult circumstances because they think you can handle it. That doesn't really, no offense, but that doesn't really solve anything or make your life better. It looks like you're being trained. Like you have a lot of offensive spiritual ability to kind of directly, very quickly affect people to kind of back away, do what you want them to do. It's a very aggressive spiritual sort of connection you have with people. When you want to kind of step up to the plate and make things happen, people are going to get out of your way. It's a bit of a fear factor going on here, but it looks like you've been trained by the universe so far to experience the things you've been, that haven't been the most fun at times, so that you can kind of it's kind of teaching you both to step up the plate and start using this ability to your advantage with a combination of, you're able to handle when people fight back. You can defend yourself very quickly, essentially. So there's a lot of protection going on here, that you're able to protect yourself. You're very strong spiritually. You can prevent other people's emotions and influence from affecting your emotions and ability, which is a weird superpower to have. But trust me, when it comes to spiritual gifts, that is as good as we all could wish for, because we would all love to not take on other people's problems. But not only can you do that, but you can very quickly change and aggressively head on. So this is a very confrontational sort of spiritual gift in a good way. Doesn't mean you're a jerk. It's a good thing. But it's not about subtly making people, work to your benefit. This is a very like direct, I want this, give this to me, now you have received it. So don't be afraid to be more direct with the people in your life. You can handle it. You won't be affected by them. You have been through enough. You've kind of become jaded. You're able to see that these smaller things that can happen to you that are not fun are really just like a dime a dozen, and they're only as much weight as you give them. And you can receive more than you are aware of if you ask for it, and ask for it with confidence and assertion. Not ego, and not like do it or give it to me or I'll do something bad. It's more like this absolute feeling of like, of course I deserve it, of course I'm receiving it. That is the energy I'm putting out, receiving, but aggressively. Now It looks like a lot of your strength is a choice word here to be used. And a lot of what I like to describe as people's power base, the thing that kind of gives you this light, this energy to be able to do the things you want in life and connect to the things you want to have and everything like that. A lot of manifestation. Everybody has like a different version of that power base. For you, it is when your mind, body, and soul are perfectly in sync. When you're taking care of your body, you're exercising and eating right, when you're stimulating your brain and treating it well with both like teaching it new things and being kind to it, and you're spiritually taking time out of the day to, be in the moment, connect to the unseen forces, meditate, that sort of thing. When those three are aligned, oh my God, it is like a light beacon to whatever you want. I mean, it is to the point that, to put it in so many terms, some people feel they have to ingest some substances to experience this sort of feeling. Not you. You just do X, Y, and Z, and you can be feeling this incredible and touched feeling with the universe, yourself, and others in a much deeper way than many people wish they could experience, but just you doing these three simple things. This is both something you can enjoy that will give you a lot of like happiness in life and just make you fulfill part of yourself that you're like, man, I just don't feel that excited or passionate about anything you're doing. It's not about what you're doing. It's not about your job you're doing. It's not about the activities. It's how you are connecting with yourself. It will make you connect with others, so on and so forth. I am being told that this is a huge reason why you tend to like to isolate yourself. It can feel very overwhelming. We talked about how you've been through a lot of like on-site aggressive attacks your way and you defending yourself. But it's also talking about how sometimes the universe puts us in positions that are secretly working to our benefit. So when you've been feeling like you want to isolate yourself, you actually are kind of inched along, being hinted along by the universe that you need to take some time to be in solitude, that meditation and that connecting to being in the quiet, in the moment. And meditation can be done in like a ton of different ways. So you can have fun doing whichever method you want to do, but meditation is like your key to connecting to this power base that we talked about with the mind, body, and spirit, and making you feel really grounded and set, which then will help you with being able to be, so we have like opposing concepts, like you can be very chill and relax, which will give you strength to be very assertive and get the things you want head on, be respected for it, and find your inner confidence, which will then in turn be able to most likely afford or help cut out a space for you to continue to meditate. So it's kind of like a beautiful cycle that goes on and on. Now, the last thing I do want to say over here with the Moon card in reverse and the Hanged Man in reverse, a lot of messages that will help guide you in life when you feel stuck, when you feel confused, when you're not sure what to do or who to trust, are being told through a couple different ways. The Moon card for me is, now I'm not seeing the High Priestess card, so I can't guarantee this is like straight up prophetic dreams. In many cases it is about prophetic dreams, when you kind of like have a premonition of the future in a very obscure way, or when your spirit guides are trying to talk to you through symbolism in both your dreams. But I can tell you, this is about when you're receiving messages from the universe in very obscure ways within the mundane. So it's like when you start to notice a lot of synchronicities. It's when like you mention something and not in just needing a sign, and then the next moment you see a sign on a bus that's a little too on point, or somebody comes to you and repeats something from a podcast that's a little too on point to what you just referred. You're literally getting little hints. It's like reading in between the lines, but in life, if that makes sense. Now, something that really helps you connect to that is not only through your meditation, but your ability in the Hangman in reverse to have an extremely unique perspective on things. I know to you, I don't think you're fully aware of it. You might think that your perspective on things is like anybody else. You're reacting the way anyone else would. Trust me, it is the type of perspective that makes you like pretend this is spiritual growth. This is you getting everything you want, feeling like your best version of yourself. And people need to experience or understand this, and this before they get here. because your perspective is like over here in left field and just so unique and different, it's like you just beeline for that that end result, that finishing goal. So use that different perspective to notice those symbols that seem obscure and are kind of hidden in the Monday, your everyday like life activities. I will warn you, don't look too much into divination and every single thing. Like don't read the number on the clock all the time and do this all the time. You'll drive yourself freaking crazy. But trust me, it will stick out to you when you notice it. Take time to connect in meditation, pay attention to your mind, body, and soul. Figure out a way to feel balanced in this way every day. Make it your most important thing because it will give you happiness in every other circumstance in life. Definitely go for that change. It will work out in your benefit. And don't be afraid to be more direct and assertive. No one's going to think badly of you. You'll get everything you want. You'll feel like a better version of yourself. And you can kind of do what many people are afraid of successfully and turn and still be viewed in a really positive way by the end of it. So all really good. If you enjoyed this reading, I got a little bit tongue-tied towards the end, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Either way, have a great day. I'm going to see you in the next one. Hopefully I'm not going to be bouncing the camera around so much. And let's get ready for group number four. Let's find out what your spiritual gifts are. Let's look at your tarot cards. And I'm so sorry, I was setting up in between and the clouds came in and like the sun is setting, so I will do the best I can in editing to make your spread look very bright and cheery. Okay, let's look at your tarot cards. We have 6 of Cups upright, 10 of Pentacles in reverse, or I'm being upright, sorry, 7 of Pentacles upright, 6 of Cups in reverse, 7 of Swords in reverse. Oh, I just realized 2 6 of Cups. Okay, that's very important. We'll get to that in a moment. And your last card is 5 of Swords in reverse. Interesting. Wow. Okay, so it looks like we're connecting to a bit of a life lesson or a kind of like reincarnation thing going on here. It looks like you have not yet in your previous lifetimes learned or wanted to try to be connected to the more spiritual side of yourself. So going on right now, this is connecting to the part of you that was not naturally gifted with those abilities, but that does not mean that you are not able to kind of cultivate and make them, more readily come to the surface, be at the more foreground. In fact, actually, you have an amazing ability to expand and grow upon this ability through knowledge and past experiences in a way that will create a longevity for your gifts. That's really important to note because a lot of people go through kind of ebbs and flow in life where times they feel a little more connected to that spiritual side of themselves, a little more intuitive, or almost able to sixth sense things, or able to kind of connect to indescribable feelings. But then at other times they're kind of caught up in the daily life. And, we forget and it's more important for us to get on time to work or whatever. For you, this is something that just builds and builds and builds, no matter the circumstances. So it's kind of like an unusual ability or talent that you weren't necessarily looking for, but is a really big benefit that kind of makes you outshine many others because yours only grows. It only continues. It can be something that you easily obtain from practical means. And what I mean by that is for a lot of people who have spiritual experiences or connecting to their gifts, this is something that kind of comes and goes and they're not fully in control of it. You, in the 7 of Pentacles, can simply just be like, okay, 10 minutes every day I'm going to meditate. And just by the simple act of working on it and doing it, it's shocking. It's surprising how much that can do for you. There's a wonderful proactiveness that is very tangible. And what I mean by that is we'd all love to go to the store and pick up a bunch of spiritual books or listen to a few lectures and have it click something in our mind and just grow and stay woke forever, so to speak. But for you, that is the case. You can literally shop for it. You literally can just put in the work and receive the gifts and the abilities to manifest and create the things you want and have a deep level of spirituality in a way other people can't. So it's your receptiveness that is your spirituality and skill. This is something that definitely bleeds over into, you might be someone who feels they need to work hard in order to do well at their job or do well at school. It's something that necessarily comes easy for you right away. You need to put in the effort, but you are receptive to that effort. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but sometimes practical means can have intangible results, if that makes sense to you. Now, I can see over here the Ten of Pentacles has a beautiful long-term trajectory way into your old age. You're gonna be the little old lady or old man who is like sitting on their porch and has their eyes closed and is smiling and can literally feel their spirit guides around them at any given moment, or simply have a sudden awareness of, someone's going to be walking up the front door. Trust me, there is a kind of limitlessness to whatever you want to potentially seek out, but here is the beauty. You get to choose what your spiritual gifts are. It's not just like, oh, here it is. You are able to be clairvoyant, or you're able to do this. There you go. No. Choose what you want to do. You can do all of it, some of it, whatever it is. You just need to put in the effort of practicing it and watching it become something. Now, I do want to point out kind of a bit of a clue and a kind of almost a bit of a warning for you and your skills. So we talk about how you build upon things. Some of the gifts that you have when it comes to spirituality is almost plucking out the advice and the useful information you can have from each person you've met in your past. So there's a beauty to kind of looking back in the past or acknowledging what you've experienced thus far, because each person you've come in your lifetime has been, and this also talks about your past lives, your karma that you've been building up till this time, because this is your time to work on your spirituality. But this also talks on one hand about the idea of like, definitely look at the people you've experienced so far. All of them have been important. What have each one taught you and been a lesson? And what have they done that you wish you could have known? Like they're like, oh, if I had known this, I would have done it this way. And then you take that advice instead of making their same mistakes, and so on and so forth. Again, talking about learning, growing, effort. There's like an intellect and a practice part of element to your spirituality as you grow. So your gift is your ability to almost like, think of it, this is the best way I can put it. Think of yourself like Rogue from X-Men, and her ability was she could take on other people's powers. So she might seem powerless, but if she's near another X-Men, she can do anything. Think of yourself in that way, in a really positive way of adapting other people's skills and abilities. However, I do see over here a possibility and almost an interest to get lost, unfortunately, in the past and allow past mistakes with people or people you'd like to make up with, in the Five of Swords kind of popping up. Sometimes as you're growing and you're taking a moment to look back, you can find yourself feeling regret or wanting to overcome these problems. You're being asked to kind of almost, I don't want to say sweep it under the rug, because that's not usually the solution in many cases. Oh my god, it's so dark in here. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to grab the last of the sunlight. I'll say this quickly. It's not about avoiding these issues. It's about not getting so lost in the past that you forget your purpose in this lifetime is to progress. You are like solely about progression. Your life is to progress. The act of progressing, slow and steady, wins the race, and you will win the race. You will own the race. You will be the race. But definitely in your journey, as you kind of have to look back a little bit in order to move forward and build up something, just don't lose yourself in it, because it looks like there is temptation for you too. I just want to point that out here. Do not think that